Hi there, welcome back to True Gooner. So, the Premier League season is back and we're all delighted about it. No more of this boring old summer with no football, all this athletics, etc. Well, it's all back now. So tonight we're joined with Stephen. How are you doing, Stephen?
Yeah, not so bad. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Thanks. Excited for the new season?
Can't wait. Friday night. Should be good.
Yeah. So in this video here, we're just going to do a little preview on how we think Arsenal's new season is going to go and our thoughts on what we currently think will plan out. So first of all, we're going to start talking about our new signings. Now, we've made two so far in Seed Kolasinac and Alexandre Lacazette. What are your thoughts on those two signings and how do you think they'll do for us this season?
Well, Kolasinac looks a bit of a beast, doesn't he? I mean, he's made a big impact already. Obviously, scoring the other day.
Yeah,
and he looks like a real tank going forward, doesn't he? He likes getting forward, so I think he's going to on that left-hand side, definitely.
Yeah,
gives us another presence in the box as well. Interested to see how he develops as a defender and what sort of formation Wenger puts him in instead of Alex Ox or
Monreal.
You know, he brings him on. You know, he could play in a back three with Koscielny and Mustafi, couldn't he? Or he could just play as a left wing back.
Yeah,
now holding there, so it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Got some options now, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you there. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. As long as he doesn't score in his own net, then I'll be absolutely fine with it. What about Lacazette? Are you excited to see potential of him, and do you think he'll become a regular goal scorer this season?
I think so, because I think he's going to be that sort of player that is going to get in the box more often than a lot of our strikers seem to want to pass it around. He sort of wants to get in there, doesn't he? And I think once we start creating more chances for him, he's going to score. I think his conversion rate will be very good. His target, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, he has started a little bit slow so far, but do you think fans need to be more patient with him, and do you think the goals will come? Because if you watch behind him, we've still got Ozil, Sanchez, Welbeck, Walcott. So there's a lot of pace behind him. So do you think it will eventually gel very quickly?
Yeah, I think once he starts playing in a regular lineup, because obviously with the pre-season, we've pretty much played every half. There's been substitutes coming and going, so he's not really had a chance to develop a relationship with anybody yet. And I think once he gets into that rhythm of playing with Ozil and Sanchez, I think he'll do really well. I don't see any problem there at all.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. Okay, so they're the two new signings we've signed so far. Now we'll just talk about the squad in general. So looking at the squad in general, how are you feeling about it? Do you think there's enough depth in there? Do you think there's enough quality? Do you think there's enough talent in defence, midfield and attack and goalkeeper? What do you think make of the squad as a whole, general, going into the new season? Currently how it is?
I think we need more players. I think we need additional players. I think, you know, the nucleus of the side is the same side as played last year. We didn't get in the top four. So for me, we still need additional players. There's a couple of positions we still need to strengthen. You know, the Welbecks, Iwobi's, Walcott's, Ox. I mean, the Ox played well towards the end of last season. Right, and if he goes with Bellerin on the right and puts him on the left, then that's not going to be as effective for him. This is also playing, so it's an interesting. I like Ramsey and Xhaka in midfield. I think that's quite strong. And Ramsey came on again towards the end of the last season. Continue that this season. I think playing with Xhaka, it gives him a little bit more license to go forward. And he likes to sort of get in on the edge of the box, doesn't he, and sort of come onto things.
Absolutely,
so I think that'll work well.
I think he's going to have a big impact this year, Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to touch wood, pick up any injuries. I mean, and I think Ramsey, if he can stay fit, hamstring injuries, I think he could have a good season. But I still think we need another creative. Can't see Santi really coming back anytime soon.
But how about Jack Wilshere? Because don't forget, we've still got him.
Well, fringe players still at the club, isn't there? So I mean, if Jack is going to stay, he's got an opportunity again if he stays fit. You know, he's got to get a run in the side, isn't he? And then he may be able to force his way in. We've got a lot of players that are on the fringe. You know, like your Chambers, and you've still got Debussys at the club. I mean, you know, these players have got to be. And what you're going to do. You know, there was rumours during the week of Wenger saying, "Well, I've got to get rid of players before I can bring anyone else in."
Yeah.
You know, because obviously we can't wait till the last minute again.
Absolutely not. Oh, absolutely not.
You know, so we've got to be decisive and say, right, these players are going to go either now or, you know, in January. But in the meantime, they just go out on loan, just get them out of the club.
Yeah.
We want to have the you know, starters, first team players, first team squad players.
Absolutely. It does look certain, though, that we will lose Kieran Gibbs, Lucas Perez, Matt Debussy, and Carl Jenkinson. Them four, I'm certain, will go, but it's taken an awful long time to get them out. Do you think it's the wage which they're on, or do you think it's the fee?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's the fee that's taking it so long?
I think it's paying some of these players, and they're on big salaries, and of course the clubs they're going to or potentially going to don't want to pay those sort of wages, and that's the problem. These players, you know, you mentioned Gibbs, and you know, they don't have to go, do they? They've got contracts. Gibbs and Debussy and Jenkinson have, but they've got at least a couple of years, haven't they? So if they decide they don't want to go, then you're stuck, aren't you? You know, you could move them out on loan, possibly. Things might happen at the last minute, and you know, by then the players we would be interested in buying will probably already have gone or decided to stay where they are.
Yeah,
going with what we got last season.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with you there. And with the squad as in general, do you think we should stick to the formation of three at the back, 4-2-1, or do you think we should go back to 4-2-3-1, or do you think we should go something different, 4-4-2? How would you go formation-wise?
Quite like the three at the back. I think it gives us lots of variation, and obviously defensively, playing with three centre backs gives us a bit more solidity at the back. And you can't argue. We won the last 6 games of last season. We won a cup. You know, we won a cup this season. And tactics, he can quite easily switch to a back four during a game if necessary. I think three at the back is the way to go. Certainly to start and just see how it develops throughout the season.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, with the option, he does seem to have got into his head that he can change the formation rather than sticking with the same team, same formation week in, week out. He does seem to have come round to the fact that he can change. And we've got the players to do it. I think Holding plays, you know, it's given Holding an opportunity to come into the team with three at the back. And I think he's going to be a strong player for us.
Yeah, definitely.
With Koscielny, I think that's a really good, solid back three. Whether he wants to bring in another centre back, but unless he's going to get rid of others, and he's got Monreal, and he's even used El Neni, and he didn't look that bad.
I'm not really keen. I'm not really keen on having him at the back.
As an absolute, you know, last resort, if necessary, if we pick up a couple of injuries. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Klasniak could play at the back. I mean, he seems that sort of player, doesn't he? Physical, and don't see any reason why he couldn't play at the back. So you've got Monreal, you've got Koscielny, Mustafi, Holding, Monreal. That's 4. Potentially El Neni and Klasniak if necessary. So that gives you 6. And Chambers.
Yeah, definitely. So at the back, we do have loads of options. How about going forward? Because we do still have Sanchez, Walcott, Welbeck, Giroud. So how do you, and Lacazette, of course. So what about going forward? How do you reckon this formation will do with us going forward? To give us lots of.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously you've also got Welbeck, haven't you, who can slot in, and Iwobi forward players. You know, obviously, like he's going to be the next signing if we are going to make a big signing up front. Is he going to fit in where Sanchez?
Yeah, that's the question.
Plays? You know, is he the sort of player he's thinking if somehow Sanchez moves, that he's going to bring in as his replacement? But to have Sanchez playing, you know, where do you put Sanchez? Do you put him up front next to Lacazette, like a Griezmann situation?
I reckon that could work. Yeah, I reckon Giroud or Lacazette up front could work as well.
Yeah, definitely so. And so there are options. I mean, Walcott, I still think he should. I think we've seen the best evidence been out of Walcott.
Yeah, he's not really the type of a world-class player that we all expect him to be. But I do think fans need to lay off him because he gets an awful lot of grief. I know we expect big things of him, over £100,000 a week, over 10 years at the club, but I do still think he's a very good, important player to the club.
Do you think he's more of an impact player now? Bring him on rather than a regular starter. Just bring him on for half an hour towards the end.
I do. Yeah, similar to Giroud. I think they're both a bit more of an impact player, but they are very good players and still key to the club.
We're assuming Perez is going to move on somewhere.
Yeah,
he doesn't look like he's going to be stayed. Sadly, yeah, he never really got a fair, really got a run in the side, did he?
Not really.
Ages and scored, but he never really really.
No, I didn't understand at some point last season why Wenger wasn't starting him, because whenever he played, apart from a couple of games at the very beginning, he did very well.
Yeah, but then he picked up injuries, didn't he? I suppose, and that sort of stopped him developing into a regular. And Welbeck's got to come on, isn't he? Welbeck's got to show some scoring talent, really. He seems to get himself into position and just fluffs his lines, doesn't he? The amount, you know, he gets in that position and there's no end product.
Yeah.
So he's got to start pulling it out of the bag.
Oh yeah, definitely, because that's the only thing that concerns me about Welbeck, is that his finishing really needs to improve, but his work rate is very good.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's more of a creator at the moment than he is as actual scorer, isn't he?
Yeah, but we did bring him as a striker.
We did, and he's got that pace up front, isn't he? So again, he gives us another option, and he needs to, you know, show some end product. He's got lots of creative, and he's quick, but he just needs that bit of composure at the end. Or pass or take that opportunity.
Yeah,
he's got it in him.
Absolutely.
And he's only a young lad, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's only going to
be a young lad, so he. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And that reminds me of the younger lads. We're next going to talk about the academy. So some of the youth players. Do you think we should be seeing a few more come through? Obviously, we saw Reece Nelson in the Emirates Cup and in pre-season. He looked superb. Do you think there's any more that we should be trying to bring through, hopefully, this season? Any more from the youth?
It's tough, isn't it? Because the way the league is, you want the best players playing all the time and getting these youngsters in. I mean, we've seen Bielik come and go. He looks like he's going to go off against somewhere. Yeah. Rian Adelaide, he's sort of disappeared, isn't he? In terms of he didn't play anything in pre-season. Belladine, what's happened to him? He's disappeared. Yeah, you know, and these players are. And
Akpom's disappeared.
So you're really left with Reece Nelson. It looks like he's the one that's likely to be in the first, you know, the squad, if you like. But that's really breaking. You know, nobody really stood out in the. So yeah, he's got to be in the squad.
There's also ANZ Maitland-Niles, who's featured quite a bit last season and even this season. But the thing with him is that he's not a right back. I just think he's been played in the wrong position.
He seems to have been played in a few positions, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's another one that potentially could stay. But, you know, when's he going to play? I mean, you've still got to squeeze people like Coquelin inside as and when. I mean, he's going to be in front of him. So, you know, but Wenger has hinted he's going to be playing a more junior side in the Europa League. There's an opportunity for some of these players to get some game time there as well as the League Cup.
Yeah. All right, so that's the academy talk there. Now let's get on to expectations this season. Now with the Premier League, now of course we all want to win the league. I want to win it more than ever, but Do you really think the aim this season, because we have Europa League football, should be just to get back in that top four? Or do you think that we have the squad, that we have the players, or we're nearly there, that can seriously mount a title challenge? What do you seriously think?
Concentrate on the Premier League. I think he'll, the Europa League and obviously the Carling Cup will be a second choice. So he'll rest lots of players for those games, and I think he'll focus totally on the Premier League.
Yeah.
Whether we're good enough, again, it's the same old story every year. We always seem to be one or two players short of where we need to be. Bought a striker, he's bought.
I seem to have lost you there. Yeah, we seem to have lost him for a bit. There seems to be a couple of connection problems, but yeah, based on our expectations. Hello.
Losing
sorry,
there was
a bit of a connection. Can you say that again about whether we can mount a title challenge or not? Sorry, I lost you there.
Yeah, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. Hello? Oh, the connection's gone again. Right. I'll just say my bit quickly. Right.
Hello? You still there?
Hello. Yeah, I'm still there. Yeah. Sorry. Again, it's the connection.
It's me.
I think it might be me. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Can you try and say that one more time, and hopefully this time connection will still last. Hopefully this time, please. Fingers crossed.
As I say, I think he's going to concentrate on the Premier League, and that's going to be the focus. And then obviously the other games will be players and bring other of the squad players in. Whether we're good enough, I don't know. I mean, we're always seem to be a couple of players short of where we want to be. I still think we are. I still think there's a couple of players that we need to strengthen. Yeah, we'll do it. Why not? Always at the start of the season, we believe we can do it. We can do it at the start of the season. Let's see what happens after a couple of games. If we lose 2 or 3 games early doors, it's going to be hell, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not going to look pretty. Do you think that it's more important this year that we get off to a good start more than ever, because we got the Leicester game on Friday, and then our next 2 away games will be Stoke away and Liverpool away, and then Bournemouth at home, then Chelsea away. So that is quite a difficult start. So do you think if we are to get off a good start, that could be key this season?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to win our first 3 games, end of, and then see where we are. Because if you give these top teams, 6 points start at the end of the season, you're not going to catch it up either. People don't drop, the top teams don't drop enough points. Chelsea won it based on consistency last year. They didn't lose that many games. The teams around them did, and drew and so on. So I think every game, like always, and I think we needed that start we've had in the last few years. Losing the West Ham opening day of the season, losing Liverpool opening day of the season, and they have an effect, don't they, on
absolutely
games.
Well, it affected us last season big time. That poor start.
Yeah, it did, but we still had a point where we were top.
Oh yeah, we were
briefly, but what you need to do is win your winnable games. And at home, I mean, there were no great shakes last season, so we should be beating Leicester, and then Liverpool can go either way. If Liverpool turn up as they can do, they can demolish anybody, can't they?
Yeah.
You can see what they do with Coutinho, whether he stays or goes. He might be gone by then.
Wait and see.
Wait and see.
Yeah, and also this season there is a change, not a pleasant change, because we are in the Europa League instead of the Champions League, unfortunately. Do you think we should have a real go at the Europa League at actually trying to win it? Because most people are saying that we think that we got a real good chance in winning that. And don't get me wrong, I would absolutely love us to win that. But do you think we should be more prioritising the Premier League than the Europa League, or do you think as soon it gets to like the Europa League knockout stages, we should be taking it very seriously and focusing on that? What would you seriously think about that factor?
So with concentrating on the league, Europa Cup will side. We'll try and get to the knockouts, and then we'll start to try and take it seriously. I think that's where we need to be, because by then the season will have developed. We'll know where we are, where we're going. I think we can make a decision then whether or not we're going to concentrate on the Europa League or still focus on the Premier League. I think early doors, I think you'll play, weaker sides, resting your Sanchez, your Ozils, your Lacazettes. Ospina will play, and he'll play, who can't get in the league side in Europa Cup. I think, because I don't even know some of the teams we're going to be playing. I mean, they're not going to be big sides, are they?
No. One of them might be, but we might be having to go to places like Kazakhstan, Israel, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Not looking forward to that. Okay, so that's the expectations. Now let's talk about some of the rivals. Now, who do you actually seriously think is going to win the Premier League? Do you think it could be us, or do you think Manchester City, Chelsea? Who do you think is going to win the Premier League this season?
I think it's going to be the same top four, top five. City have spent a lot of money on players, and they haven't finished yet. And I think Guardiola's going to put a better side out. He's more of his own players. He's strengthened defensively, isn't he? And I think Chelsea will be strong, but obviously this year they're going to have the Champions League, which they didn't have last year. And
do you reckon they'll be more focused on that instead of the Premier League? Because a lot of Chelsea fans I know would rather want to do well to try and win the Champions League than the Premier League.
Possibly. I mean, they haven't spent comparatively to the other clubs. They haven't really replaced. And I mean, they've let Matic go, which was astonishing. They let him go.
They replaced Bakayoko. They did buy Bakayoko.
Do you want to, he was one of their standout players last season. They've let him go to a main rival. Couldn't really.
Yeah, I don't understand that bit.
Sanchez going to Man City, isn't it? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Don't understand. And they haven't really replaced. They're going with Morata. It looks like they're going to go with Morata instead of Costa. And is that a backward step?
Yeah, I think it's a slightly backward step. But Morata is a good player, but of course I don't think he's world class. But because if he couldn't get into the Real Madrid or Juventus team, then that surely say something.
Yeah, so I don't think Chelsea will be the same threat as they were. So I think it's probably Liverpool. Man City would probably be favourites to start, possibly.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, Chelsea, us, Liverpool, Manchester United. Can't see Tottenham doing what they did last season at Wembley. That's going to be a major setback for them.
Yeah.
And again, they haven't strengthened it. They're going with pretty much the same side, haven't they? They've sold a couple of players.
Yeah.
Everton, again, will get top six probably. Can't see anybody else.
Yeah.
Any sort of challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to look past those seven on who else is going to break in. It's hard to look past those seven because they've all spent good money. I'll just give you my verdict yet. Of course, I did a Premier League prediction show for those of you. Go and check it out if you haven't done. I said Manchester City to win the league. I think they've got the players and they really do have a brilliant team, and I just literally can't see any way past them under Pep Guardiola. I think they're going to be very hard to get past this year. I don't think Chelsea will retain it this year. Obviously, they find it's very difficult, as you've seen over the years, to retain the title. So I'm not sure about them, and I do think they'll be more focused on the Champions League. And now they've got that as well. No more European football. So I don't think it'll be as easy as them this season at all for them. I still don't think Manchester United have got quite enough to really mount a serious title challenge. Yes, I do think they'll be back in the top four, but I'm not too convinced just yet. Of course, they could prove me wrong because they do have bought some good signings, but I'm not sure. Liverpool, again, they haven't really done much in the window. Plus, they could lose Coutinho, and there's still question marks about the back line and the goalkeeper. But of course, they've got some fantastic midfield and fantastic attack. So I think Champions League finish and a title challenge could be tricky for them this year. And Tottenham, of course, certainly won't be winning the Premier League or challenging for the title because they've got absolutely no one. And like Steve said, the Wembley factor. So that's what I think. And finally, just before we go, who do you think we need to sign before deadline day? Just give me a couple of names. Who do you think?
Well, I think obviously Lamar is the obvious one, isn't he?
Do we really need
if you're going to go? We don't seem to be linked with any other major players at the moment. Mbappe is a non-starter. He's either going to stay where he is or he's going to go to Madrid or Barcelona. Yeah. He's not going to be going. No. Van Dijk in the back, if we were going to come in for a defender.
I don't understand why. Like Van Dijk? Yeah, I don't understand why we're not in the mix because all I see is Liverpool and Man City being in the mix. But I do actually think we could do with another centre back to add more leadership and more stability. And I seriously think we should be in for him, don't you? Don't you? And when he's desperate to leave, he's handed in a transfer request. So, do you think we should be in the mix?
Well, if you look at it, yeah, I mean, I think if you look at it, he would be and Holding at this stage. He'd be better than Gabriel. I wouldn't put him in front of Koscielny, probably Mustafi at the moment.
Yeah. Koscielny is knocking on, so he's only really got.
I mean, so I'm always about if he improves your current system or players, then yes. So if he's better than currently what we have, then yes. You want young players to have a chance. I think Holding needs a chance to develop into that player. If we just, he's owned at the moment, and they
oh yes, absolutely. So would I.
They paid 50 million for him. Spent 30, 40 million on Holding. We'd be well happy, wouldn't we? We'd be playing every week, and you wouldn't even think about it because he's a young kid come from Bolton. Is he majorly wrong? And he gives you that bit of confidence, I think. He's got a bit of swag about him. He likes to bring the ball out. He likes to, venture forward. So I think he developed with Koscielny and Mustafi. But if I think you'd probably look at Van Dijk if he was available. Why not?
Yeah, and also, do you think we need another central midfielder? Because I still think we're lacking creativity in the central midfield. Obviously, we spoke about Jack Wilshere earlier. We've been linked with Seri, Goretzka, and Brozovic lately. So, do you actually think we could possibly do with another central midfielder, or are you happy what we've got? We've got Wilshere, El Nene, and Ramsey in that role. So, what do you think there? Do you think
upgrade on quite a few of those players, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of him, and I really do think we really should get him.
He'd go well with the other German sort of Eastern. I think Wilshere's the big unknown, isn't he? On his day, he can be a very creative, destructive midfield player, but he hasn't been that for a long time. It's going to be if he's not played much in pre-season. I don't know what his fitness level is at the moment, whether or not he's actually available. I can't see Santi coming back, so you do need another creative. Goretzka would probably be my pick.
Yeah.
So Van Dijk, Goretzka, and Lamar.
Oh, if we got that. Oh, if we got that.
2 out of those 3.
Yeah, even if we got 2 out of those 3, yeah. Oh, happy days. Then I really do think we could actually challenge. Seriously.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? That's the 2 players we're missing. When we're saying we're a couple of players short.
Yeah.
Being the players that would make the difference. to be that title challenge. If you suddenly spent those money on those sort of players and brought them in to start the season, because we're starting on Friday, but by the end of August, that'll send out a statement. He's signed 5.
Yeah,
you know, that's unheard of, isn't it?
Yeah. And finally, just before we go, we'll just talk about the manager quickly. Now, of course, he's obviously decided to stay on, and obviously it's divided opinion a lot. Of course, I really wanted to change, but I will get behind him and I will get behind the team. Do you think it really is time that fans get behind the manager now and shouldn't really pounce on him and call for him to go after a couple of defeats, or whether he's made a few mistakes? Do you think it's time now fans start to unite and start to get behind the manager and get behind the team and stick with what we've got? Do you think that could be crucial this season?
He's got to follow through with players. He's got to bring in, if he does that and we have a reasonable start, if we lose a couple of games, but he's brought in, as we said, 3 or 4 quality players and changed the squad, he's changed the system. If we get a couple of bad defeats, well, okay, it's just one of those things. We've lost a couple of games. If he doesn't make the changes and we get off to a bad start as soon as possible, because I don't think anywhere to go. He's got to make the changes. We've got to have a good start, and then we go from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, I can't see him lasting beyond Christmas, to be honest.
Yeah,
definitely. If we have a bad start, we haven't signed the players either. He hasn't fulfilled any of his promises.
Yeah, really. Because he's going to be the most under pressure manager in the Prem next season by a long way. So he's really got to start proving us wrong. And what other kind of things would you like to see him change? And do you think that he should change? What a few things?
Well, I think he should develop his 3 at the back. I think the tactical side of it, he can develop that 3 at the back. Sticking with that, I think that, because that's quite a big thing for him to do after 20 years, isn't it? Completely changes, his system of play. Stick with Lacazette. Don't start sticking Lacazette on the left and stick him on the right.
Yeah, we can't be playing players out of position.
Get over that. Put your best players in their best positions. Rather than just trying to squeeze Ox in the side and stick him out on the left, where he's pretty much ineffective.
Yeah.
Right. Or don't play him. Play somebody better, more, in tune with playing on the left, Lamar or someone like that, and get him playing on the left. Walcott if he's off full, but decide where you're going to play Walcott. Are you going to play him as a striker? Are you going to play him on the right wing? Decision about him. Where are you going to play him? And then he either plays or he doesn't play in that position, and go from there.
Yeah, definitely. And also, do you also think that he has to actually change his attitude towards the fans? Like, whenever he does things wrong, do you think he needs to come out and admit it's his fault? I'm sorry. I'll try and correct it next time. Do you think that you see more of that? And do you also think, also at the end of the games, regardless of what the results is, he needs to come round and be more ruthless and tell the players to go and thank the fans at the end of the game instead of let them just storm off down the tunnel? Do you think he needs to change that side of the game towards the fans? And if he does that, do you think he'll start winning a lot more of the fans back?
Yeah, I think so. I think there needs to be a lot of that. I mean, he came out recently and said about last season's, his thing with the contract had an effect on the team. He came out and said, in hindsight, he made a mistake. His announcement earlier, which obviously had a negative effect on the team. He sort of come out and sort of put his hand up for that one. And yeah, I think the fans need to be connected to the team. Start getting insular and then ignoring the fans, then that's not the way you should run a club. I don't think the fans and the players should be close. Or lose, the players should be in front of the fans, applauding their attendance and their support.
Absolutely.
Manager, how many times you see Wenger just turn around and walk off the pitch?
Yeah,
applauding the fans. He should be there, like Klopp does, isn't he? I mean, he's very much, where Wenger should be in terms of showing the fans support. I think there's a total disconnection last season between the fans and Wenger because of the amount sort of attitude that was there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Whereas this season he's got to show more of a connection.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you there. Okay, so that's the end of the video. We'll wrap this up there. Thank you very much, Stephen, for joining me tonight.
No,
good way. Hopefully, let's hope we can start the season.
Sorry about the internet connection. It rubbish.
Oh, is it gone again? Oh, is it gone again? Well, we're just about to finish now, so. All right, we're just about to finish now. So, yeah, viewers as well, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and also leave the comments below. What were your expectations next season? Where do you think we'll finish? Who do you think we need to sign? What do you think of the squad as well? Leave it all in the comments below. And I'll be speaking to you very soon. And let's get behind the team and keep supporting the boys. Come on, you Reds.